yesterday's match schedule announcement from FIFA. At the time of the bid, we were hoping for 5 or 6 matches, and a quarterfinal was unlikely. But here we are with 5 group stage matches, a round of 32, and a quarterfinal for a total of 7 matches. Congratulations, Boston. Congratulations, Massachusetts. These matches will generate an exceptional economic benefit to our city and state in terms of business and jobs. But more importantly, it will serve as a demonstration of the great things we can achieve as we work together. We want to extend our deepest appreciation for the support of Mayor Wu and the City of Boston, Governor Healy and the Commonwealth, the Kraft family and their organization, the Town of Foxborough, Meet Boston, our public safety partners, federal, state, and local, and Massport and the MBTA. We look forward to our future collaboration with these great partners, but we will also need the engagement and support of our citizens, our communities, and our businesses to deliver this. We will need volunteers, sponsors, artists, hospitality professionals, security staff, contractors, and so much more to achieve this goal. And we will, And we will join with our peer host cities. New York, New Jersey was awarded the final. Philadelphia hosts a match on the 4th of July. Atlanta hosts the semifinal. And LA will open with Team USA. This schedule announcement clearly shows we also now know the dates of our 7 matches. Starting on June 13th, we will have 5 group stage matches and then 2 knockout matches, bookending our nation's 250th. I, for one, cannot wait to welcome the world during our great nation's anniversary. In 2026, Boston will come alive with a packed and engaged stadium with 40 days of fan festival, with hotels and restaurants teeming with international visitors, with all things awesome. And it will come alive with individual moments of helping, sharing, and cheering. We as Bostonians know in our hearts this is how we will welcome the world. Thank you all, and we are looking forward to working together with each of you to make the summer of 2026 unforgettable.
Appreciate that, Mike. Let's all take a seat now, and we'll invite to the stage Brian Bolello, Chairman of Boston Board of Boston Soccer 2026 and President of New England Revolution, Martha Sheridan, President and CEO of Meet Boston, and Alexander Klosterkemper, head of the World Cup for FIFA in 26 and 2010, now supporting Boston Soccer 26 on impact strategies. Brian, naturally, I'm going to start with you, not to date you, but you did go to the World Cup as a fan in '94. How old were you?
So quick correction, I did do some games, but it was actually my first job ever in sports, was working as guest services in Foxborough for the '94 World Cup. So I was 19 years old, college soccer player, and it opened up a whole new world for me. And I think one thing that shouldn't be lost on everyone associated with this great event, in 1994, when we hosted the first World Cup in the U.S., we didn't have a league, a professional soccer league, the one that I run the Revs now in, the one that Taylor had his career in. So the last time we hosted the World Cup, we actually created a league out of almost nothing. So to think what this World Cup, given how far we've come, how popular the sport of soccer is, how popular our league is now, what this World Cup is going to do, I think our commissioner refers to it as putting rocket fuel into our league, and I can't disagree with him. It's going to be amazing.
I just can't wait to see all the nations that come to play at Foxborough see the $35 million plus training facility that the Revolution have built there. It's fantastic. Martha, I want to move on to you. Now that we know the schedule, can you better imagine right now and paint a picture for us, summer of '26, what that will look like in the city of Boston?
Sure. First, I want to do something quickly. We all watched the announcement yesterday together, and I think the fact that we got a quarterfinal got buried. So can we have a woohoo for Boston getting a quarterfinal match? We need that. So yeah, we obviously we have started planning along with our colleagues here for this incredibly extraordinary experience. You know, as FIFA likes to tell us, hosting one match is like hosting a Super Bowl. So imagine that the city of Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts will actually host 7 Super Bowls in a pretty short period of time. But I can tell you, our community is ready for this. We have one of the, and I'm not saying this because it's my job, we do have one of the best and most close-knit hospitality communities
I agree.
In the country here, to be honest with you. And we will do everything we can to make sure that Boston shines on a global stage. And I know you all want to know about economic impact. It's the question that comes top of mind for most of you in the journalism field. We have a study that we can share with you that was done by FIFA when we originally were bidding on the games, on the matches. It's a little bit outdated because it factors 4 to 5 matches per host city. We're now, it's not a Boston-specific study, it's a national study. That estimated about $400 million in spending, $500 million in impact. But now with the 7 games, we're going to have to adjust that number a little bit. So we're just super excited, and I know Boston is going to be one of the best host cities out of all 16.
Well said, Martha. Mike, I want to move on to you because you've been hard at work behind the scenes for several months now. Just give a little bit of an understanding of how much progress you made, but more so, now what do you do?
Sure. Well, you know, at the base level, we formed a nonprofit organization to support the Boston effort. And the simple steps of that, of building an organization, of admin and IT and all those things have been going on for the past 6 months, and we're pretty much there now. As well, we've hired a team of experts across security and transport, commercial, communications, and that team is then working with FIFA, our state, our local, our federal partners as well, to start to build a foundation plan. But now we have the dates. Now we can start to work together with our federal partners to understand the implications of this, and also with FIFA. So we're very excited to take this next step. I'm looking forward to it.
Which is great. Alex, I think this is the most intriguing question I'm going to have for you, because you, Germany in 2006, South Africa in 2010, that was a certain protocol and match schedules and everything. This is going to be the biggest World Cup ever. How is this one going to be different for you and for Boston, but more so just in general? How different is this World Cup going to be to years ago?
First and foremost, we've got 48 teams instead of 32. We've got 104 games, which play to our advantage. So now we've got 7 games here in Boston. The match schedule, you as a player know, there's a new round of 32. So now you got to play 8 games to win the World Cup instead of 7 within a period of 40 days. One thing that FIFA has done for the first time is they put regions because they want to lower their environmental impact. They don't want fans to travel across the country. This is a big country, 3 countries actually. So they have these regions, and they haven't announced yet the pairings. You know, some of you who have seen match schedules before, you would see A1 plays A2, A3 plays A4. They haven't done that yet. They're going to do it at the draw because they want to make a match schedule with a limited amount of travel and really working on time zones too, which team plays where. So that's unique.
Alex, can I ask you, is that because we saw the United States men's national team will play 2 games in Los Angeles, 1 in Seattle? Is that kind of what you're talking about when the rest of the groups come out?
Correct. So once the draw is done, we will see where every team plays. That draw is going to be in the fall of 25.
Yep.
That's when we really find out which team plays where. We can already see where the US plays, where Mexico plays, where Canada plays, and we'll find out more at the draw.
Martha, I want to go back to you because you've worked for various CVBs throughout the years, seen major events come to your cities. This project for you, 2026, how it's coming about, how is this different than your experience years ago?
Well, as Gianni said yesterday, this is the largest sporting event in the history of the world. So
Was that him or
don't-
Kim Kardashian? I
Someone
forgot
said
which one
it.
said
I don't know, but nothing will compare to this. It's so exciting, and at Meet Boston, our goal has been for the last 4 or 5 years since we were sort of decimated by COVID to really reestablish Boston as a major global destination, and we're well on our way to doing that. And this event is going to cement our reputation because I know we're going to do such a great job. When you think about the billions of eyes that will be on television sets across the globe, and as I've mentioned in previous press conferences with Brian, they're not going to see Gillette Stadium. The name Gillette will no longer appear on the stadium. It'll say Boston Stadium. That's the image that will appear across the world, and people will be able to share in this incredible city's reemergence and renaissance, and we cannot wait.
I think that's a natural transition, Brian, to you, President of the Revolution, your role with Boston Soccer 2026. How would you describe to the layman folk and even just the normal sports fan how unique the World Cup is? And now to have it in your backyard, just the combination of both of those.
Yeah, it's a unique event because it truly is a global event. So I've had the privilege, we talked about my experience in '94. I also went in 2002 as a fan with my wife, and I was able to go to Qatar to see FIFA's operations down there. And there's nothing like it. You have people from all over the world truly traveling to these cities, visiting new countries, and wanting to engage both with themselves and those around them. And so I think one of the things we're challenging, Mike and Alex and the group of Boston 26 is to make sure that this is an event for Boston as well. It's great. The visiting stuff is great, and we talk about economic impact and how much money that brings with us, these world travelers who are going to come and stay for a long time. It is also important that we figure out ways to engage our local community and make sure that the World Cup means opportunity for the people in Boston who love the sport, particularly for kids in Boston who are learning the sport and love the sport and want to get access to it. So, you don't often get to bring the world to your doorstep, and we have so many folks in the community that maybe don't have the opportunity to travel the world, like people who work in sports, and we complain about it, right? But it's a wonderful thing that you get to experience as part of our job, all the travel and seeing all these great places. And this gives us a really unique opportunity to bring the world to the people of Boston. And I think we have to figure out really great ways with a number of our community partners on how to do that.
Alex, I asked Mike early on, I'm going to ask you now, what is your role now as this thing has been announced? You now know 7 games are here in Boston. Now what is on your agenda?
So as overseeing the impact side of the World Cup, Brian just mentioned it, really leaving a legacy in Boston. I think that's what we want to do. It's a unique setup. We as a host city, again, comparing it to past World Cups that I've been involved in, the host cities have much more responsibilities and opportunities. So we can sell some host city supporters. So we got to raise money, but we also got to raise excitement so we can build a brand here. And we'll have a second panel after this about some of the grassroots organizations. And this is really an opportunity to show what soccer can do for young kids, for anybody in the community, the health benefits, all of that. So it's a great opportunity as the whole city gets activated to showcase what soccer can do.
Mike, that's where my goosebumps come into play. I've been in this city for 22 years, understanding how important the sport of soccer is to this city. I listened to Alex talk about raising funds, the local opportunities you mentioned in the opening statement. Just elaborate a little bit more on exactly what that means and what this means for years to come.
Sure. Well, certainly as a program, we have 2 major fundraising elements. We have our supporter program, our host city supporter program, and that will be 10 corporations. We're hoping to find cornerstone corporations in the region that have roots in New England. And
you won't have a problem with that, I can promise you that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. And they'll not only support us and help us financially, but they'll support us in guiding the organization and guiding the vision and the legacy. Secondly, we'll be working on a donor program that will be at multi-level, so we'll have certainly a corporate donorship program, all the way down to individual small donorships that will help us fund both the operation of the event and the legacy. These are our two sort of main fundraising elements, but I want to stress that there are so many ways to be involved in this tournament that don't involve money, and we want to make clear to the public that's really important. Volunteerism, short-term jobs during the tournament time, all of these things will build and allow everyone, and even just being great hosts, I think all of this will build to a memory and a legacy for our games.
I want to end this conversation with both Brian and Martha. So we hear the word legacy often. Brian, I'm going to start with you. The New England Revolution, craft soccer, everything that has gone on for the last 28 plus years. But our sports, what does this do for the legacy of soccer in the city of Boston and the state of Massachusetts, and ultimately New England?
I think it solidifies our place in the world's game in the United States. The first club team ever in the United States was actually here in Boston and played over on the Public Garden. So we have a long, rich history with the game. I think being a founding member of MLS within the Revolution and the Kraft family back in 1996 speaks to that. Being a 94 World Cup site, we also hosted 2 Women's World Cups. So this is our 4th World Cup in Massachusetts and Foxborough that we're hosting. So I think it really cements Boston and Massachusetts as one of the cornerstone soccer hotbeds in this country. We see it every day. I'm privileged. I love the sport, so I get to see it every day in my job. But I think everyone being able to understand where we've come, where the sport is, and where it's really going. I would bet anyone in this room that 20 years from now, soccer is going to be the 3rd biggest professional sport in the United States. And this is just one of those moments that we'll look back and say, look where we were before that, which is pretty good, by the way. For those of you who don't know, but when we look afterwards, we're going to see, I think, even a more fundamental shift. So that's what I think about from a professional legacy. And then obviously, one of my joys is I get to be involved with a lot of great community programs, some of which are here today. And so, again, there'll be part of that where how do we make sure that the community programs that service all kids, all sports, but really a focus on soccer, and how do we get more soccer out there in the community, both from a capital standpoint with fields and facilities, but also programmatically with coaching and programs to give young people opportunities to play sports and to play soccer. So I think this could be a real inspiration. We have a great, wonderful, international, diverse city here. And so, basically if you're born or you're first generation and you're not from the United States, soccer is probably your most popular sport. We do pretty well outside of here. And so I just think it's a great opportunity to really engage our whole community around sport.
That was Brian's subtle jab of saying his life got a lot easier when I retired. Martha, you mentioned it earlier. I got to go back to it. Obviously, everyone here with the cameras is very interested in the economic impact for the city of Boston, for the local communities around here. What is that? But also the legacy for Boston in '94 for all of us that watched that World Cup and grew up aspiring to have it back here. 2026, what is that going to mean economically for Boston, New England, and the communities around here?
Sure. So we talked about the number that we have so far. Of course, that's going to be a fluid number with the increased number of games. But, when we talk about economic impact, we talk about the fact that everyone knows people come in here, they stay in a hotel, spend money on a hotel room, they dine, they go to our attractions, etc. But I like to think in our business of how that spend trickles down into the community. So I always like to say to my team when we're working on a program or trying to lure a meeting or an event to the area, it's not necessarily just about that big number and the room nights. It's about the fact that the housekeeper at the hotel or the server at the restaurant are getting all of these extra shifts because an event is coming here. And it allows those people to pay their bills on time, to buy that prom dress for their daughter, to put food on their table regularly when they might not have been able to. It's such an important element of what we do, which is nourishing the entire community, its lives, its livelihood. So, think about economic impact from up here and, millions and millions of dollars flowing into the economy. but think about what that means really at the base level. And then, of course, you know, the fact that we will be welcoming the world, as Brian said, to our doorstep. People that may never have thought to come to Boston before are now going to be here because they want to follow their team, or they just want to be a part of this extraordinary event. So we're really excited about the fact that we get to welcome, you know, new folks into our community. People that may not have an opinion of Boston, or have an opinion of Boston that might be outdated. They're going to see our diversity front and center during this event. People oftentimes don't think of us as this extraordinary patchwork of cultures, and we get to show that off to the world during the World Cup. So we're excited. I also want to just play off one thing that Alex said, which was the regional approach for us. I think that Boston, New York, New Jersey, and Philly are the best positioned 3 cities from that perspective. Geographically, they are the closest 3 cities of any other in the pod. I know we have Atlanta and Miami as well in our geographic, but if you think about the fact that people can come to Boston, stay in a hotel room maybe for the whole month, and travel back and forth on Amtrak to New York City, to Philadelphia, New Jersey, and catch games, that's going to be huge for us. And we love the fact that environmentally, you know, people aren't jumping on planes to, you know, traverse all over the country if they don't have to. And let's not forget the fact that the final game is being played in New York, New Jersey, which is huge for us. You know, people are going to want to be here. They're going to want to be part of the Northeast action. So I think we haven't even scratched the surface on economic impact yet.
Just a little tip, if you're going to the final, I'd leave now. I would leave now. Let's thank Martha, Brian, Mike, Alex. They'll be sticking around after as we finish here to take some of the questions. But before we wrap up, as Mike, Martha, and Brian will leave the stage, Alex, I want you to stay with me. I think it's important we dive deeper into the legacy of what the FIFA World Cup is going to mean to our youth and to our communities. All 3 of these people went to school here in Boston. They participated in one of the many great soccer-oriented programs here in Boston that have had positive social impact in our city. I want to welcome to the stage Anshi Moreno Jimenez, Raquel Castle, and DJ Kamara to the stage, please. Anshi Moreno Jimenez is a senior advisor of the Mayor's Office of Policy and Strategic Planning. She joined Boston Scores in 2005 and participated in their program through her elementary school years, serving as the National Poetry Slam representative in New York City in 2008. She recently became the first program alum to join Boston Scores Board of Directors. She holds a master's in public policy from Harvard and was named to the El Mundo Boston Latino 30 Under 30 in 2022. Welcome. DJ Kamara moved to the United States in Boston from where? Guinea, attaboy. 2013, at the age of 11, he started playing with South End Soccer Unity Project's largest youth program in 7th grade, and played with the program through high school. DJ progressed in his career to play semi-pro soccer and has returned to Soccer Unity Project to volunteer and coach. DJ graduated from the Academy of the Pacific Rim Charter Public School in Hyde Park and is now a junior at Providence College majoring in accounting. DJ. Raquel Castle's from Honduras. She arrived in the country in 2011, joined Soccer Without Borders in 2011 as well. She graduated in spring of last year from East Boston High School, where she played varsity soccer all 4 years. Currently, she is attending Fisher College, where she is continuing to play soccer and majoring in cybersecurity. Raquel, welcome. So I want all of you to answer this question, and it's real simple for me. One, and I'll start with you, DJ, how did you get involved in soccer? But 2, and I think this is more important for everybody else, how did soccer help you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, to begin, I would like to say thank you for having me. I mean, it's a pleasure being here. Honestly, to witness the 2026 World Cup being in Boston is amazing. But to answer your question, I think, so again, like I moved here when I was in 7th grade, and so soccer has always been like a part of me, right? Like ever since I was younger, we've always done that, and it's always been like a second half for me. And so once I moved there, I looked into different programs to see where I could potentially play. Actually, starting in 8th grade, I actually played varsity soccer at my high school, so I had the chance to get involved in there at that age. And so, as I looked for different programs, like around Boston area and things like that, there were a lot of programs that required money to be paid up front, which we didn't have at the time. And so that's when I came across Unity Soccer with South End Soccer, in which honestly, like, I could say, I'm not getting paid for this, guys. It's not. But I could honestly say it's always been a pleasure to be there. Even today, some of the core values I've learned have come from there. Like, I was honored to be captain of the team for 3 years, and like some of those values I learned there, the teamwork, everything I've carried with me to this day.
Raquel, what about you? How important was soccer in your life?
So I actually started playing once I got here for Soccer Without Borders. I had never played, but my mom was like, "You gotta find something to do to keep you busy." So I
Wait a minute, you never played soccer in Honduras?
no.
You are, wow. No wonder why you left.
So then I started playing for Soccer Without Borders, and at first I was like, yeah, I'm just here to be here. But then as I grew up, like, it just became a part of me. So every season, even in the winters when we had practice, I would always make sure to be there on time, doing what I had to do. And some things I learned from it is that being in a team helps you meet new people also.
Yep.
So you meet people from different places, from everywhere, honestly. I feel like I've met so many people just because from Soccer Without Borders, and them welcoming a lot of people is great. So I feel like it also helped me with being more open, like being open to meeting new people. And I really love it.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Soccer Without Borders. Anshi, soccer for you, how important is it that it played a part in where you are today?
Oh, it's a huge part of where I played. My family's from Ecuador. We immigrated here when I was young. So I grew up watching the Ecuadorian national team, and then when we got here, the U.S. Men and women's national team. But it was when I went to elementary school and joined the Boston Scores program that I had my chance to be on an organized team. From there, I ended up playing throughout my upbringing, through all the way through college. I still play now. But what also stuck with me is the learning component of part of the program. It had a poetry learning writing class. So I got to build those skills on and off the field, and those skills stuck with me now, whether I'm with the Scores team, figuring out how we provide the best opportunities for youth at the mayor's office, or if I'm just playing pickup around the city. Those skills have really stuck with me and have made me really value what teamwork is and how to bring that in my everyday work.
I'm going to stay with you because Boston Scores is just one of these fantastic organizations. What does the World Cup in 2026 in Boston do for that organization?
Well, this is the first World Cup that our generation and younger generations will see close to home. So Boston Scores serves 1,500 Boston Public School students, and all of them will get that chance to see those role models around them, to see the sports industry and how the sport brings together community pride, unity, that dialogue that happens. So I'm really excited for it to activate soccer across the city and for our youth to see those mentors so close to them.
I appreciate the subtle jab. This is your generation's first time I understood where that went, so appreciate that. Alex, I want to go with you here. World Cup, Soccer 26, what does it do for these organizations? Because truthfully, this is how we grow the sport in our country.
No, absolutely, and that's why I'm so happy that we have this panel. If we think about the impact that soccer had on these three young adults and on so many that participate in these programs, we need to raise more funds and more awareness of the impact that it can have. If you look at the healthcare industry, they can raise billions of dollars through donations. Why can't we do that? Because the impact is just as big. So that's what the World Cup can do, is really shine a light on these incredible programs, on how they create these really great young adults. And that's what we need to work all together. The media, the governor, the mayor, the governor, we all can work on making aware how powerful that game is and how little you need, and that it shouldn't be pay to play. We have opportunities with organizations that make kids be able to play.
And I thought Raquel said it best. It's the most diverse, it's the cheapest, it's the easiest place to meet people from all over the world, and I think that's the greatest gift this sport gives us. DJ, I'm going to put you on the spot. First World Cup you remember, and what do you remember about it?
First World Cup was the 2010 World Cup in South Africa.
How old
that
were
I
you for
remember.
that World Cup?
I was
Since
9. I was 9. So I was pretty young. I was pretty young, granted. But I think the atmosphere, I mean, at 9, you're not that young. So, like, you know between right or wrong, right, guys? Come on. So I think at that age, just to see, like, I never attended a game, but in the streets, like, people would run down. We had these little long tubes, like, they were almost like
The
trombones.
vuvuzelas.
Yes,
Vuvuzela.
exactly. Yes.
Right, which is why it was the worst World Cup ever, but carry on.
So, like, for me, just kind of like being around that, like, that atmosphere is always giving me the love and the passion for the game, right? And so, like, that was my first World Cup, and it was just awesome. And honestly, to like you said, leave early if you want to be there for the game.
Yep.
So, my friends and I are already planning on purchasing a couple tickets.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
We're in line already. We're in line.
As you should, as you should. Raquel, I want to go back to you. Do you have any expectations for how you're going to experience this World Cup in a couple summers?
I feel like since Soccer Without Border always does this for the World Cup, you meet together as a team. Anyone that can come and just watch it. We all just sit there and watch it all together.
It's the best.
It is. And also, I feel like for me, I want to meet a lot new people. Like, it doesn't matter where they're from, I'm open to it.
All right, I'm going to stay with you now because I'm going to have all three of you answer this question. I love putting people on the spot if you haven't figured it out. Give me the one team that you want to see play in
Brazil.
Boston. Brazil?
Yeah.
You sure your Honduran family back home's okay with that?
I'm pretty sure they are.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty
All
sure.
right, Anshi, what's the one team you want playing here?
Has to be one.
Has to be one. That's why I put you on the spot.
All right. I have to say, I mean, the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
And Ecuador. Come on.
Okay, I like it. I like it. DJ?
This is
U.S.
hard,
in a quarterfinal would be epic here, huh?
right? I don't know. This is hard. I mean,
Let me guess. South Africa, Guinea.
here he goes. I think this guy's a hater, guys. Just a little bit, right?
Oh, I am.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. No, but
South Africa's in the Asian Cup. Come on.
definitely, I would say Spain. Only because I watch like European soccer, and
Yeah.
so a lot of the youngsters
Quality.
get a chance to, I get to see them in person.
Yep. Awesome. Let's give a round of applause to Anshi, Raquel, DJ, and Alex. They will be around for us later on. That is our program today. I want to thank everyone again for coming, supporting us in our mission of making FIFA World Cup in Boston a memorable and impactful event for everyone. Our speakers, both previous and current, will be here sticking around for additional interviews, so that will begin in just a few moments. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in a couple summers.